That concludes item 10.1. Let's move on to item 10.2, which is also a public hearing adopting a resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the City of Benicia, City of Sassoon, County of Solano, and the City of Vacaville, who will be acting as the lead agency for application preparation and administration of the Neighborhood Stabilization Program grant, and authorizing the City of Vacaville to file a grant application for fiscal year 2008-9 state allocations. Mark?
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and council members. Just to give some broad background on what Neighborhood Stabilization Program is from the federal government, I thought I'd just spend just a couple quick moments to brief you on how this program came about. Back in the summer of '08, as the foreclosure crisis, as it's been referred to, began to impact several areas of the United States, Congress began to work on what's called H.R. 3221, the American Housing Rescue and Foreclosure Prevention Act of 2008. They did pass that legislation, and they allocated $3.9 billion towards the problem across the nation, targeting it into states that were hardest hit with foreclosures and so-called subprime mortgages. The funding was allocated to go through the Community Development Block Grant Program, federal program, and the stipulation was that homes that were purchased with the CDBG funds would be sold or rented to low or moderate income families. So it's stipulated that it would be for owner occupancy or rentership towards low income. There were 5 options that the money could be used for: purchase and rehabilitation of homes to sell, rent, or redevelopment; create land banks for homes that have been foreclosed upon; demolish blighted structures; redevelop demolished or vacant properties; or establish financing mechanisms or programs for the purchase and redevelopment of foreclosed homes and residential properties. In order to qualify for this program, there's a formula that HUD set where they actually looked at the number of foreclosures in the various cities and counties. They also looked at the number of subprime mortgages that were due to go into reset mode, where they would probably increase the foreclosure rate in the areas, and they created an allocation formula. So they've actually set the eligibility, and it's a matter of if you are willing to take on the task and apply for the money and set up the program, you can go for it. They did a direct allocation to major cities. So initially, right out of the chute, major cities like Los Angeles and Oakland were given direct allocations. We're in the second disbursement of the funds now, and they're being made available to smaller cities and counties. In order to qualify as a small city, you're required to group together with your county and other small cities to create a viable program, because one of the stipulations is that there be sufficient staffing ratios. So in our case, in our area, Vacaville has the largest number of staff available to work on such a program. And they held a series of meetings with housing coordinators and economic development directors within the county, and volunteered to spearhead as a lead agency. And we had discussions trying to identify what would probably be the easiest program to deliver, quickest to give the foreclosure relief. And everybody agreed that putting the money towards acquisition, rehab, and first-time homebuyer programs would be the best use of the funds. That's what's being recommended in this particular MOU, is to utilize the money towards first-time homebuyer acquisition, rehab. There still could be provisions that it could be used to rehabilitate foreclosed rental properties, but the emphasis is for first-time homebuyer programs. Again, Vacaville would take the lead. They would administer the program. They would provide the staffing. The formula derived for Dixon comes up with a little bit over $200,000. That's not, we don't have as huge a problem as other areas, but it would allow us to fund 5, 6, 7 maybe homeowners to go into foreclosed properties. So that's what's before you, would be this banding together of Solano County, Vacaville as the lead agency, Benicia, Sassoon, and ourselves to work together That is a refreshing, I think, aspect of this type of program, is that it's looking towards cities and counties working in conjunction with each other and finding an efficient way and quick way to deliver the
Well,
program.
in essence, what we're doing is we're forming a consortium of cities.
Absolutely.
And I believe that the city of Vacaville already does we contract with, or
Yes, recently we contracted
For
administrative
business
support
loans?
and staff support for our first-time homebuyer program.
Oh, okay.
In order to save consulting costs. So a couple months ago, we transferred our first-time homebuyer program to the City of Vacaville Housing Department, and we're working closely with them to, we still have oversight on the program. Our loan committee still votes and approves the loans, but the staffing support is coming from Vacaville, and this is, it started out to be a very successful partnership. We've done a couple loans with them already.
okay.
So that's what's being asked of you, is to authorize entering into this consortium, and then working with the cities working together to apply to the state to get the federal funds to put this money to work on foreclosure mitigation.
Okay. I will just add that just prior to council meeting tonight, I did sign a letter addressed to Senator Dianne Feinstein, encouraging her, along with her other Senate colleagues, to try and reinstate some of the neighborhood stabilization funds, which this program has. Some of that money was reduced in the Senate version, and now both houses will sit down and try to negotiate a settlement. So she will be at least aware of our desire to continue with that program. Any questions of Mark? Mr. Chairmello, any questions? Ms. Kaler? Councilmember Coppice? Vice Mayor? Okay. Before we turn you loose, we'll go to public comment. Is there anybody in the public wishing to speak to this particular agenda item? Seeing none, back up to council. I think it's pretty straightforward what we need to do. I think it's an opportunity for us to secure some funds that will assist our citizens. Yes.
Well, as usual, I'm going to take the opposite view, which you're probably not too surprised at, Jack. I think this is too little too late, looking at 5 to 7 homes when we have 140 on attachment 3 that are listed as foreclosures and pre-foreclosures. This is not free money. This is coming out of somebody's pocket. This is just like the TARP and the other bailouts that are before Congress. I guess they were approved today in the Senate. Personally, I have a large problem with government intervening in the housing markets, especially after they're the ones that caused the problem in the first place by forcing banks to make loans to people who couldn't afford to repay them. I will not be supporting this, and I will not be voting for it.
Okay. Any other comments? It's in council's hands. I'll entertain a motion either supporting or rejecting the recommendation.
I would move to approve the recommendation, submit a neighborhood stabilization grant.
To enter into the agreement with the county and the other cities.
That's true.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Kaler. Any discussion of the motion?
Mr. Mayor, before you actually take the vote, I just wanted to point out there is one blank in the agreement which staff will have filled in before it's actually executed, and it's the blank that indicates how much Vacaville will retain as compensation for their services. So we just wanted to make sure the council's aware you're approving it with that blank.
All right.
Just to clarify, Mike, I did put in the resolution that it not to exceed $10,000.
Okay. All right. Is there any other discussion on the motion?
It's in here.
Hearing none, Janice, call the roll, please.
Council members Kaler,
Aye.
Chair Mello,
No.
Coppice,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Fuller,
Aye.
Mayor Batchelor.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, that takes care of item 10.2. Moving